What's happening, everyone? Marlind, Mary, and Liam Rafferty. We're back again with the sports scene, and it's a sports weekly roundup. Liam, how are you today, mate?
I'm very good, mate. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, this weekend we're going to start with boxing.
Yeah.
So, we can briefly mention stuff that's happened during the week, but we'll get onto that in a bit, football-wise. But the main thing, I think, this week for everyone, especially if you're a boxing fan, is the massive super fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford. I don't know how to call it. I'm really conflicted.
You know what it is?
What do you think?
I keep changing my mind about it.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, Crawford has to go up 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
They're actually quite similar in
size, yes.
Yeah, in size. Obviously not build. Obviously,
no, build and weight.
Canelo Alvarez is way bigger.
Yeah.
However, I'm really conflicted because I think on one side, I think Canelo absolutely destroys him. And then on one side, I think Crawford will sort of tactic him. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously Crawford's a very small fighter, whereas
He is.
Canelo's very much power. His strength is his power.
No, of course it is. And I think the two issues, if you're a Canelo fan, is that at the moment you can argue that Canelo is maybe near the end of his career.
However, Crawford is older than him.
That's fair.
Crawford is 37, Canelo 35.
And the thing about Crawford as well is that he arguably, he's not as active. It's been a year and a month.
That is very true.
It's been a year and a month since Crawford last fought. Canelo fought in May, albeit against a very poor William Skull. But that was more, I think, that wasn't really Canelo's fault. I just think William Skull just didn't go there to fight at all. This is just massive, though. I mean, it's what realistically, what Turki Al-Sheikh has come into boxing for, to make them big fights.
I'm linking up with Dana White as well.
Yep.
Dana White.
It's a massive link up.
I hate that man so much. That man, the amount he sees money, and then he just goes into it. He slagged boxing off before that McGregor-Mayweather fight. Then he saw the money.
Oh, of course.
He saw the money. He saw the light, and then he decided to get involved.
He's come into the sport of boxing.
But obviously, it's going to be a tough fight for both fighters. It is a part of the fight is in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously,
it's what we want, really.
Yeah,
fans, atmosphere.
However, obviously we mentioned with Turk Alex Sheikh,
Yeah.
And Dana White, but it is a part of the Riyadh season, even though it is in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Crawford's a weird one because he has 41 fights.
Yep. 31
wins by KO.
Yep.
And he's coming in this, but Canelo's a bigger guy. I don't think he could knock Canelo down. It'd be very tough for him to actually beat Canelo by KO.
I agree. I think the only issue, again, another problem for Crawford, if you're a Crawford fan, is that, to be fair, I did say that Canelo, you could argue, is coming to the end of his career, but Crawford is older than him. And the problem with Crawford is that he's not as active.
Yeah.
He did struggle a bit against Israel Madrimov, in my opinion, and that was at 154. Now he's going to 168. So it's, a full-on stone, basically heavier.
Yeah. Against
a guy who was very comfortable at that weight. Canelo has obviously fought at light heavyweight as well, obviously when he fought against Dmitry Bivol and Sergey Kovalev, which was a long time ago now. Bivol did just completely sort of outlanded him. But the one thing that Bivol wasn't able to really do was rock Canelo at any point.
He didn't knock him down,
or even get close to him. Really.
Yeah. The thing is that Bivol is that, and to Crawford, I think it's a difficult one to call.
Yeah.
And the fact that Bivol didn't knock Canelo down screams to me that Crawford won't,
or even put him in a position to hurt him. Yeah.
Because Bivol's a lot bigger.
No, of course.
In terms of obviously his weight class as well. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I'll edge Canelo.
Okay.
However, I know he has been a bit shaky in his recent fights compared to Crawford. Obviously, Crawford hasn't fought in a while, but I still would edge it Canelo just because of the fact that Crawford has to go 2 weight classes, and the fact that Canelo, I think, is just a better fighter.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I can see for Terence Crawford, I could imagine him being quicker to the punch I think he'll potentially outland Canelo. The only problem I think with Crawford is that I just can't imagine a world where he's able to actually hurt Canelo. And I mean, Canelo made the point in one of the earlier press conferences that Crawford has not actually fought any elite fighters.
Yeah.
Obviously, Canelo's ring experience is vastly superior.
It really is.
You know, the guy's on 70 plus fights, and you know he's fought all the best
plus
in the world in many different weight classes.
Yeah, having a fight in Las Vegas as well, because of where it is on the map. Like it's Crawford's.
Canelo's used to big crowds. Yeah. He's used to that big sort of moment. You know, he's fought Golovkin, he's fought Miguel Cotto, he's obviously fought Floyd Mayweather. You know, that was, you know, Bivol as well. And, you know, the only person that Canelo really hasn't fought, which I think everyone's desperate for him to fight, and we could potentially see it if he wins this one, is against David Benavidez, which would be a massive fight as well. Maybe even a bigger fight than Crawford, especially with the sort of the desperation that the fans have to see that fight. But I just don't know. I think that's the thing with Crawford is that, you know, I mean, when Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence Jr., that was, for me, the best performance of Terence Crawford's career. He was unbelievable. He was like a sniper in that fight.
Yeah.
Every little mistake that Errol Spence made, Crawford punished. And he does tend to punish mistakes, Crawford. He's a very punishing fighter.
That's what he's a patient fighter as well.
And the thing is with Crawford is that he's the best switch hitter in boxing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Canelo can deal with that. The problem I have is that I just think that, I mean, I would like Crawford to win just for the sheer upset. And he is a bit of an underdog, even though I'm a fan of Canelo. I'm not Canelo's biggest fan, sort of, you know, I'm not, as I say, I'm not really his biggest fan. I'm not, you know, for me, I'm not really too bothered who wins. I like both fighters the same. But I just think that Canelo will knock Crawford out late. I think rounds 10 to 12, I can imagine a potential late knockout. And as good as Crawford is, and I think Crawford's very slick, and I don't think he'll get punched that often, I just think that there will be a stage when I think Canelo cracks him, and I don't know how Crawford would deal with the power, and I think Canelo might just be able to catch him, even though Canelo hasn't actually finished anyone for 4 years.
Yeah.
But a lot of the fights that he has had, especially against sort of Berlanga and against William Skull, they weren't really there to fight. They were more there to survive. I think Crawford knows that he's going to have to try and go out and win the fight and not really necessarily play to survive if he's going to have any sort of success against Canelo.
Yeah.
So I went the long way around it, but I do believe that Canelo will win by late stoppage.
Yeah. I think Canelo will knock him out.
Yeah.
I know Crawford's is well known to do that, but like I mentioned before, I just don't see him knocking Canelo out. I think it'll go the distance.
Yeah. You think it'll go the distance?
I think it'll go the distance.
Okay, so you think Canelo will win on points?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the two questions I've got is, I mean, there's always a massive debate amongst boxing fans. You know, if Canelo wins on Saturday, would he solidify himself as the face of boxing at the moment?
Right now, that's a tough question because that's the face of boxing for me. I think Canelo probably in that weight class probably is.
Okay.
I think Canelo is obviously has the whole like all of Mexico behind him,
basically, yeah,
which is a very passionate country.
Yeah, he's got a massive legacy in this. I think he's arguably one of the best Mexican fighters of all time, if not the number one.
But for me, I still think Usyk is the face of boxing currently.
Okay, at this moment in time,
just because people watch more heavyweight fights, I think,
that's true,
than other classes. But I do believe Usyk will. If you ask someone right now who watch boxers, say they've never watched boxing, or don't watch boxing
as often,
you go to them, name me 3 boxers currently. They'll probably go Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, and probably Anthony Joshua.
So you think it's sort of more of the heavyweights that are, you know,
more well known, yeah.
So okay, cool. So you think that? Okay, now that's interesting. I think Canelo's obviously got a massive audience, as you say. I get why you say Usyk is the face of boxing at the moment. He's definitely got a claim to be.
Yeah.
I think if Canelo wins on Saturday, I think that he's solidified himself anyway. He probably already is, maybe at least in the top 3 for sure. But I think if he wins on Saturday, that's just, massive. The other question I've got is, who do you think, whose legacy does this affect more if for the loser?
See, that's a tough question.
It's tough because obviously Crawford is the one moving up, but at the same time, he has that thing where it's like, has he ever actually, Canelo's words to Crawford were, "You've never beaten an elite fighter."
Yeah.
I think that's a bit harsh, personally. I would say that. But what do I know? I'm sat in this chair. I'm not the one who's boxing. So, you know what I mean? I just think that it's going to be... It's interesting to see. I mean, I don't know what you think. I think Canelo needs this win more.
I was going to say, the thing is with Crawford is that if Crawford loses...
It doesn't affect him as much, I don't think.
They'll go, you give it a good go because he's moving up 2 ranks. Yeah. Whereas if Canelo loses this is his ball game. This is
questions a lot.
Yeah. Currently with his record as well, because the thing is, Crawford has balls because he could have easily just done what Tank Davis done, and just fight someone like J. Paul,
and make the money. Yeah, exactly.
He's going in and fighting an elite boxer. People argue he's on the decline. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
but
he's still elite.
He's still got the biggest. Boxer,
he's still a big name.
Yeah,
without a doubt, elite as well.
So I just think
the pressure is on Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo needs this win.
No, I think so. I agree.
Because where would Canelo go if he loses this?
I mean, the thing is as well is that obviously, when he fought, I mean, the Mayweather fight was, when it happened, he was a lot younger, and you can sort of excuse that loss because Floyd was still sort of Floyd. The Bivol fight, he didn't look for. He didn't look for the rematch.
Yeah,
because I think he maybe knew that am I really going to get this guy in a rematch? With Crawford. If Crawford wins, if you're Canelo, you probably need to try and get that win back, at the least, to try and get that win back.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And, Turki Al-Sheikh has hyped this a lot. Obviously, he said that he doesn't want to see any more Tom and Jerry fights. I don't want to say anything that could get me in trouble with him. So, but the one thing that again, we have to thank the guy because he is making the fights that we want to see. Like, this fight would not have happened
without him.
3 or 4 years ago, this wouldn't have happened. As soon as they've come in, the sort of, Riyadh season, they've come in and they've made, the fights that people want to see. I mean, we've got the Usyk Fury fight. We had, Bivol against Beterbiev, which was class. Both fights were just really good to watch. And we'll hopefully be getting more fights soon. Moving on into the boxing world as well, obviously on Tuesday night, or sort of Tuesday midday, Anthony Joshua made sort of a very uncharacteristic call out for Tyson Fury because Anthony Joshua doesn't tend to really be the one who talks the most, especially on social media.
He's usually the calm one compared to Tyson. Tyson Fury is usually the one that goes
outlandish, going on social media, shouting, whatever.
We mentioned last week how Anthony Joshua wanted to come back.
Yep, in January.
We didn't think, we thought it was going to be Wilder.
Yep. Could still be Wilder.
It could, it's not confirmed, obviously. But him calling out Tyson Fury
shows that he wants that fight.
That he still wants it.
Yep.
Tyson Fury is in a weird position where his stock's fallen.
Yep.
You can't make them calls anymore.
No.
And do people really want to go and watch it in Usyk trilogy?
When
he's only 2-0 against Fury.
0-2, and obviously the thing is with that as well is that he hasn't actually fought anyone since. Like, Tyson Fury's just sat on the sidelines and just waiting for...
Retired.
Yeah, retired, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, Dick Turpin, Moro Mask, good one.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think the Joshua Fury fight is still a massive fight. It probably won't happen in January, but if it is going to happen, I think it would be a fight in the summer. I think if you're Anthony Joshua, you probably look to come back against, whether it's a Deontay Wilder, it could even be against Martin Bakoli. The fight that has just recently been announced, which is another big fight, Joseph Parker against Fabio Wardley, which I don't know if you've seen the press conference this week. That fight, whoever wins that fight clearly is going to be fighting Alexander Usyk next.
Yeah.
Early prediction for that one, if you had to give one?
I'm a Usyk man.
I mean, for Wardley against Parker.
Me? That's a tough one.
See, the thing is, with that
the more I think about it,
Fabio Wardley could cause an upset and then completely scupper Joseph Parker's plans, which would be such a shame for him because he's done so well lately. He's been fighting fantastically.
For me, Parker will win.
Yeah.
but like you say, it could cause an upset.
It could cause an upset.
I was just thinking about that. I was just about to go straight in and say Parker. Then actually, you think about him.
Wardley carries that power.
He does.
He carries that power. Yeah. Justin Hooney felt that, especially in their last fight. Justin Hooney was winning the majority of it, and Fabio Wardley sort of near the later rounds, found his chin, knocked him out. That's going to be a great fight, which again, a fight that we will do a preview for. Yeah. But moving swift, back onto AJ. How many fights do you think Anthony Joshua has? Do you think now at this stage, do you think he can come back and win another belt, or do you think at this stage it's sort of have them legacy defining fights like your Wilders, try and get Dubois back in a rematch? Obviously, Tyson Fury they've had a feud for so many years that it would feel wrong if we didn't see it. Like, great British fights in the past, such as, Froch Groves and Brook against Khan, which that was late as well, but at least we've seen it in the end.
Yeah. It's like even not the same weight class, but like Kay Bellew and stuff like that.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, no, exactly. That was a fight that, people wanted to see, and people ended up finding out. Obviously Bellew did fantastic in both fights, for example. But what do you think is left for Anthony Joshua to accomplish in the sport of boxing? Do you think he can still become a heavyweight champion?
For me, no.
Okay.
These fights right now are purely for legacy.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he has the consistency to go and win a belt.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, because what if he goes into this Wilder fight and loses? And what if...
Puts him in a very, very
awkward position, yeah. And what if Fury goes in that Usyk trilogy and loses? Then them two need each other to really...
No, of course. I think they need each other anyway, to be honest.
But it's an interesting one, because I still think right now Fury's on a better level than Joshua.
Okay.
I do believe in the prime, which one I prefer to watch, it probably would have been Joshua.
Okay.
But the thing is, Fury hasn't been training. AJ took a year. I know a bit of part of it was injury.
Yeah.
But I still think he would have definitely went into some sort of training long term.
Yeah.
Whereas, can you really sit there and say Fury's been working his absolute arse off for whatever fight's coming up from? Probably not.
Probably not. No, I think we need to sort of. The problem with Tyson Fury is it always feels like it could be one thing one day, one thing another day.
Yeah.
And for Joshua to come out and sort of make a very uncharacteristic sort of statement like that, where I think Joshua at this stage of his career, he wants that Fury fight more than
ever.
More than ever, I think, because as well for himself, it's a legacy as well. It's the King of Britain type thing.
Yeah, because whoever wins a fight,
find himself.
Whoever wins a fight, if it's Fury, I think Fury will stay in boxing.
Probably.
If AJ wins that, and he hasn't fought Dubois yet in the rematch.
Yeah.
If he has fought Dubois, I think, and if he beats Fury, I think you'll just go, that's me done.
Yeah.
That is my. Yeah. I have done what I need to do.
Yeah.
I was on the decline. I've won the fights that I needed to win.
Yeah.
And then, or if he does beat Dubois, that might go in a trilogy for the third.
He could have another. He could have another fight with Dubois if he beats Dubois. Yeah. He could even maybe go and try and get a win against Alexander Usyk. Which, if Alexander Usyk is around that long, because you never know what's going to happen.
He could retire, especially with the stuff what's going on with the Parker situation with him having an injury. We don't know if it is an injury.
We don't know how severe it is, but I don't think he would lie about it. I don't think he would fake.
He has nothing to prove. Why would he go and lie now?
Yeah, exactly.
After the big fights he's had in the last few years.
It's going to be interesting to see what Usyk does now. Obviously, as I think Frank Warren did put it very boldly during the week, that whoever wins this fight will fight Alexander Usyk next. So that will be very interesting to see. I just think that boxing is in a very good spot if we see Joshua back in the ring, if we see Fury back in the ring, because people want to watch them fight.
Yeah.
And I still think they have a bit more left to give to the sport, especially AJ. I don't think, at least to see, if Joshua comes back in January and performs really badly, as bad as he did against Dubois, then I think you can get the final answer and be like, you know what it is. You should probably retire. But if he comes back and wins his fight against whoever he may fight, then it makes you, the appetite for a potential Dubois rematch, a potential Fury fight, they're there. And, he's a big star and it would be great to watch them fight again. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I think Eddie Hearn will probably be talking about, the next plans for AJ. So that's going to be interesting to see. We'll have to obviously wait and see for what happens. I think a lot of the big fights will start getting made now after this weekend, obviously. with the Canelo and Crawford fight. So I think, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, we have another thing as well that has come up during the week. It's a very good thing we decided to record on Thursday, by the way, because if we recorded earlier on in the week, I think we would have missed a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Darren Till, the gorilla Darren Till, has called out Andrew Alpha Male Tate, right? Whatever you want to call Andrew Tate. People like him, people don't like him. I think I'm, fairly impartial personally.
Some things he says I agree with, and some things I just think, what
are you talking about? He's not as sort of relevant as you could say he was maybe 2-3 years ago. Maybe that's wrong to say. Maybe I'll get a load of Tate fanboys in the comments. If so, please be kind. You know what I mean? It's just an opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Misfits. It feels like Darren Till is probably the best fighter on Misfits. He has called out Carl Froch. I don't want to see Carl Froch come back. I think Carl Froch should stay retired. He has a great legacy. I think at this age, don't mess around with it because more than likely Darren Till might be able to beat him.
Yeah.
Especially after he's had 11 years out of the ring. Even though Carl Froch in his prime would have dusted Darren Till.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's typical that thing of MMA fighters would beat boxers going into the MMA cage.
But boxers
more than more often than not will beat MMA guys.
That's what the thing is. It's bread and butter for Darren Till in MMA.
Yeah.
That's what he's done.
Yeah.
So whereas like a boxer knows the rules. The thing is with MMA going to boxing, is that there's so many more rules in boxing. Obviously you can't like kick people. As much as Darren Till said that against Tommy Fury, he would absolutely like when he said in that press conference, what's stopping me just absolutely kicking you in the head.
No, it would be actually interesting to see. I mean, if that sort of a fight ever happens, because they are both. Andrew Tate has obviously got fighting experience. He was a former kickboxing champion.
Yeah,
he hasn't fought for a long time as well. But again, it would be very interesting to see because.
Misfits is the perfect place for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, the press conferences more than anything would be absolutely interesting to watch, but I don't think this fight will happen, to be honest. I don't think
Andrew Tate would.
I don't think Andrew Tate would risk it, and I get why, because I think Darren Till...
He is a scary boxer.
Darren Till's a very... I think he's got a lot of things to say in boxing. I think he's going to... Darren Till could build himself up more. Obviously, he had a great knockout win against Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold's chin, on the other hand, it has been a bit done for years, but still big knockout for Darren Till, and it sort of puts him in that, it gives him a name. But the problem for Darren Till is that he would probably like to fight a Jake Paul, but I don't think would Jake Paul take that risk against him?
Probably not.
Because the size, and I think there's less of a
chance
sort of
to win
reward for Jake Paul winning than there would be if he lost. Which is, I think, one of the big reasons why we haven't seen and we won't see KSI against Jake Paul. But obviously, other news in boxing, Molly McCann.
Yeah.
Meatball Molly McCann
wants to step in.
I think she's signed up to a boxing...
I think...
Signed up for Matchroom, I think, is it?
Yeah. So, Molly McCann coming in the boxing.
She's obviously
it'd be a good thing for her. Because I think the money in boxing's a lot more... And obviously, it depends who she fights at the end of the day. But, if she fights a big name,
she's got more of a chance, I think, of being a world champion in boxing than she would have had being a world champion in MMA.
At that age, especially.
Yeah.
She's going towards the tail end of her fighting career.
She wants to become a world champion within 8 fights. Whether she can or not is going to be very interesting to see. But I mean, hey, good luck to her and fair play to her for
stepping into the ring.
Stepping in, exactly. When you think that after what she did in MMA, the name that she's done great for the people in Liverpool. God knows how many people she's inspired.
For English women fighters who want to win the UFC or whatever it is, Cage Warriors or
she's done massive.
Yeah, you just gotta respect it. She's wants her payday now, going to boxing.
Yep,
and fair enough.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Moving on from boxing, we'll go into a different sport, into a different ball game.
Domain.
Yeah, football.
Yeah.
So you want to mention your country, Albania?
Yeah, we've, after a sort of we won 1-0 against Latvia, basically, and we've managed to keep ourselves, the dream is still on, as an Albania fan, to qualify for the World Cup in 2026. We beat Latvia 1-0, a penalty from Christian Aslani. Albania in the last 4 games have not scored a single goal from open play. It's been an own goal and 2 penalties. So not really what you want, but we found a way to win. And England did us a massive favour as well by beating Serbia 5-0. Now, it seems like Albania's hopes for qualification will go down to that Serbia game away in Belgrade in October. It'll be so interesting.
I've got a question to ask you.
Go on, yeah.
Are away fans allowed in these fixtures?
No.
I was going to say, because that would be...
There is actually a rumour that the game could be played behind closed doors.
That would make sense.
Because I think Serbian fans were I think there was racist comments picked up.
Yeah, I've seen a few clips on the Serbia-England game where they were trying to swarm the away end.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, typical Serbia. Why they can't just seem to... I can guarantee this. When England fans go to Albania for the Albania-England game in November, I can almost guarantee you that the Albania fans will be very respectful to the English fans, and they will want to sort of give Albania a good representation. Yeah. Not just because of the sort of the political issues that we seem to be having in the minute, but Albanian fans, we don't tend to really, unless it's against the countries that we have sort of a conflict with, like the Greece and Serbia's. Yeah. I think they will treat the English fans with a lot of respect, and Serbia fans, just absolute idiots. They've given themselves what would have been what they could have used to their advantage against us is the fact that it would have been just Serbians allowed in the stadium. They more than likely would have made a good atmosphere and probably a hostile atmosphere against for the Albanian players. But now that there might not be any fans in the stadium, or it may get located to move to a neutral venue, I think they've just given themselves a massive disadvantage. And obviously, Milenkovic and Lukic won't be playing in that game.
Yeah,
big game. But the problem with Albania at the minute, we have won. We're not really playing well, but to be honest, neither are Serbia. So it's going to be an interesting battle. Obviously, one that we will preview. I think. I've talked to you about this before, but if Albania even had the chance to qualify for a World Cup in my lifetime, it would be unbelievable.
Would you go?
Oh yeah, of course. I would try my best. Yeah, of course, I would try my best to. Obviously, I went to Germany last year.
You know what? I've got an idea for this channel.
Yeah.
And I want to do sort of like once in a while.
Yeah.
We just go to random sporting events.
No, we can do. Absolutely.
Just, obviously vlog it and that.
Yeah.
But imagine us two go to America, watch Albania.
I'm telling you right now, the Albania fans would love you, mate. Because you know what I mean. If you accept the culture and stuff, Albania fans are class. And to be honest, the atmosphere that we created in the game against Croatia, that 2-2, was a fantastic game, and yeah, it was great. The night before I had a few too many, but it was it was one of the best nights of my life, genuinely. And supporting Albania, qualifying for these tournaments is just unbelievable. We've only qualified for two Euros in sort of our entire history, in 2016 and obviously last year as well. And those were class. A World Cup for us would just be monumental.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? We're not going to qualify in first in this group, but for us to even get to the playoffs would be an achievement anyway, because of the fact that we've never actually sort of been close to qualifying ever.
Yeah,
we were close on the previous occasion to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. We were only a point off qualification in the end. It's going to be interesting to see if we can beat Serbia and Andorra. Then, we're probably going to have second place, and that would be. You never know who you get in the playoffs, so it'll be interesting to see. But there is obviously still a long way to go. There is still 2 sort of big matches, and then against England, they'll try and obviously, hopefully, maybe nick a point. England more than likely will win that, but England will, in theory, have already qualified by then. So will Tuchel experiment potentially?
Yeah, he would probably just give a few players to have a look before the tournament, obviously. Yeah. We've seen that so far in the Tuchel.
But the thing is with England as well, they're in a bit of a weird moment. From only just about beating Andorra 2-0 at home, they managed to then go to Serbia, which Serbia aren't the best of conditions at the moment. And, they were a better side a few years ago, in my opinion. I think a lot of their team is old now. But for England to go to Belgrade and win 5-0, it's pretty comprehensive. And it's why are England so inconsistent, in my opinion? It's just very strange to see.
What are your thoughts on Tuchel so far with England? Do you think...
I think...
a woman term, or
I still think there's obviously sections of the fan base that will be annoyed because he's a German.
Yeah.
I get why, but at the same stage, I think that he is a winner, and even though the football won't be pretty at the moment, especially, I think during the World Cup, that's when they'll judge him. Yeah. That's when he'll be judged.
Plus, it's just an agreement at the moment for one tournament, isn't
exactly. So he is clearly sort of his objective must be to get back into club management, and obviously, if he found a way to win the World Cup, that would be massive.
Raise the stakes even higher.
Exactly, and would he stay on? I don't know, but as you said, with a short-term contract, really, he's not going to be able to sort of do as much with the players. So it's a lot of it is, it's hard for him to really sort of get a style of play maybe going. I think the World Cup will give him that chance to do so.
Yeah.
The football hasn't been pretty at the minute, but they are winning games. So it's like,
yeah.
What can you really say? And I think a lot of the problem at the minute as well with England is that the motivation in certain games hasn't really been there. I mean, the Andorra game's prime example where
it's turned up and just
turned up. Yeah. English teams of the past would have relished that opportunity, really.
Yeah.
I used to remember when England and Roy Hodgson would beat Andorra's
San Marino's tournaments where this at the moment's kind of the opposite.
Where it's like they're a bit poor in the groups, but
when it comes to tournaments,
can they be good in the tournament? Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. So it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, but international breaks, I think now you'll be glad
to see the back of it. 100%.
Exactly, because football, it's such a shame that it sort of disrupts the flow. Like you get excited for the beginning of the season, then you have 3 games, and then you feel as if you're back to doing nothing. You know what I mean? So, but obviously this weekend, by the way, first of all, we did briefly talk about this a couple of weeks ago, but Nuno Espirito Santo.
Yeah, it was last week. Last week
so we talked about it.
We said the fact that the season started and Nuno hasn't been sacked yet, would indicate that he would probably
be given a bit of time.
A week later,
he gets sacked. So Marinakis is a mental man. He does what he wants, and he's obviously quickly appointed in Ange Postecoglou.
Another sort of Greek heritage.
Yep, that
obviously, with Ange, the big Ange.
Ange
Postecoglou. Yeah, his first game's against your lot.
Yep.
12:30 kickoff on Saturday.
Yep.
Are you confident for it?
I am and I am. I feel like whatever Forest would have turned up, whether it's Nuno's or whether it's now going to be Ange's, even though they might have a new manager bounce, I think we should be beating them regardless.
Yeah.
And especially because of the loss that we did have against Liverpool, I think now there is that extra pressure to go and win the game. I still think we would win, but it will be a bit interesting to see how they set up, because will Ange, at least maybe, in this game, will he set up more to be a bit more pragmatic and defend, or will he just go straight from the beginning, playing out from the back, sort of high line?
Yeah, the way we've seen in Spurs.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to see, because with it being his first game, maybe he might try and ease his way into it, or he might just go for the jugular to begin with.
Yeah.
I think the big reason as to why Ange has been hired is because he's obviously won the Europa League last season. Nottingham Forest in the Europa League. Would you give them a fair chance to win the Europa League?
Yeah, I think they could go far. For me, the Europa League isn't as strong as it once was.
I don't think so either. I agree.
Same with the Conference League. Champions League's, it is quite tough this season.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the fixtures already. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I look at that and I look at Forest and I think they could go far.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the tournament they focus on this season.
Yeah, so you think
I think they've got to try and go out and win something this year. Obviously, last season they got the semi-final in the FA Cup.
Yep.
I don't know how well did they do in the League Cup. I can't remember.
I think the League Cup they went out quite early.
Yeah, so this season I think they want to get Europe again.
Yeah.
But the easier way to get the Champions League for them, for me,
would
is
be
to win the Europa League.
Via the Europa League, no, I agree. I just don't see them being able to sort of... I think they'll be... It's very interesting to see, because if it was Nuno still there, I think Nuno would have maintained maybe a top 10 finish. I don't think they would have necessarily been in European places, but I think they would have got top 10. With Ange now, I know Spurs did have a few injuries last season, and obviously they had the Europa League run, but
you can
17th was no excuse.
But the thing is with Ange as well is that the football he plays also does create them injuries.
That's true.
Because the way they play all the
time.
Very
high, very intense. It's going to be interesting to see, and Forest, you wouldn't necessarily associate Forest with having a big squad. So it's gonna be. I don't know. I'm left with a lot of mixed feelings, to be honest, in terms of what he's gonna be able to do. I think it's the wrong decision to sack Nuno.
I agree.
I think long term it might prove to be the wrong decision. It could prove to be catastrophic in terms of, if Forest ends up going down in the next couple of years.
But they've lost some big names as well. In terms of
obviously they lost Alanga, and Gibbs White nearly left.
And
how long
will
he be there for?
Yeah, if Forest don't compete this season, Gibbs White will be gone.
No, I agree.
Same with Eddie Anderson
as well, who's got back-to-back man of the matches and
then plus Chris Wood's not getting younger.
No, of course
not.
If
his goals dry up, where do you get the goals from?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in that sort of regard. I think Nuno will find a job in the Premier League very quickly, especially with
the sort of defensive clubs looking to stay up.
If West Ham don't necessarily sort out or go on a run of form, you could argue Graham Potter might be sacked. Any of the sort of Leeds, if Farker doesn't, have a good run. Anyone really. I mean, even I'd go as far to say, even if Man U sack Amorim, maybe Nuno is out there. They might go for him. It's going to be interesting to see. So, but I think for Nuno, I think he'll find a job, no problem. I think what he's done at Forest was more than enough to prove that he's still a very good manager.
I agree.
So obviously, we've got a lot of big games this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think actually people have been talking about it much, but we do actually have the Manchester derby this weekend.
I think it's a bit like our game. It's a bit too early.
Potentially, yeah.
But I do agree that it's probably not getting
pressure's
about.
Probably
considering
more on both teams.
It's at the Etihad. Man United last season won at the Etihad.
Won there, yeah. They got 4 points against them as well.
So it's not like Man City are going to be a walk in the park. They've lost the last 2 games.
That's the interesting thing, though. I think the pressure is on both teams. I think Amorim needs a result to try and sort of, go
statement
on.
win again.
Yep.
Sort of the last win at the Etihad for them.
Yeah.
But
Man City as well.
Pep Guardiola at home.
Yeah.
Needs this win because last time they played at home, they lost to Spurs.
Yeah.
So they definitely need a win.
No, they do. And if Man City want to prove that they can win the league this season, I think they'll definitely be needing to win that game, especially with a very tough game against my team, Arsenal, coming up the week after as well. This is another thing that we'll be adding as well to the channel, that we'll do sort of our predictions for the Premier League games during the weekends.
We did mention as well, once the Champions League gets to knockout stages,
we'll probably do that as well.
Predictions to that as well. But I think at the moment with the group stage, the league format, it's very difficult.
There's a lot of games to track as well.
Yeah.
And I think with the Premier League, it's a bit easier as well to get sort of a gauge. It'll be, I don't know, should we try and sort of set up like a bit of a Super Six, like sort of whoever, or like a point scheme, so like whoever gets, so like if you get better 1 week, better results 1 week, and I get better results the other week, like if we sort of tally it up and then see maybe by
who wins more
by the end of the season.
Like 3 points if you win.
Yeah, 3
point if you draw, and then
we will work out the points format. But I think that's something that we'll try and do. We'll try and sort of see who can predict games better, if it's Rafa or if it's Yamari. So obviously, first game of the weekend
is you against Nottingham Forest.
I'm going to the game, so I'm really hoping for a win, because last season my record when I went at the Emirates was absolutely horrific. And
so that's a Nottingham Forest win then.
Clady's record was even worse. Clady didn't even watch one win, bless him, last season. Clady's my brother, by the way. Shout out my guy. So my brother needs to watch Arsenal win at the Emirates again. So I think we will get back to winning ways, obviously, after a bit of a disappointing loss against Liverpool. Bit biased, maybe, but I think we'll win 3-1. What do you think?
I've got 3-1.
You got 3-1 as well? Okay.
Check the stats.
Oh, yeah, you do, yeah. The next game is?
The next game is Bournemouth versus Brighton. Okay. A tough game to predict because both teams are, they're very entertaining to watch. Yep. But I believe both teams have that sort of setup where they buy players for nothing, sell them for big.
Yep.
Bournemouth at home, I've got 2-1.
Okay.
Against Brighton. Brighton, I watched them against Everton 2 weeks ago, I think it was, 2-3 weeks ago. And they had a lot of chances.
Okay.
And they missed them.
Yep.
And I think, if you convert them, you beat, on a different day, you beat Everton 4-0. But I do think Bournemouth win.
You're back in Bournemouth. Obviously, Bournemouth have won 2 from the last 2. 1-0 wins against Wolves and Spurs. And they were really good against Spurs. So it's going to be very interesting. I think I'm going to go for a Desmond. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think
2-2, yeah.
I think Brighton, especially beating City as well.
I was very close to putting that as a draw, but I think Bournemouth will edge it.
Bournemouth, that's fair enough. I'm going to go for a 2-2.
Next game, Crystal Palace versus Sunderland.
Sunderland have started the season very well.
They've got,
and so Crystal Palace.
But they're very good at home.
Yeah.
Away, obviously, they didn't get beat up Burnley.
Yeah.
A very poor Burnley side, by the way.
Yeah. Which...
Palace are on very good form.
Oh,
they are. Got a bit of problem with Mark Gay come back in after the thought we were going to sell him.
Yeah.
That might disrupt the squad. Obviously, losing Eze is a big
it is a miss. It is a miss.
However, I do have Palace to thrash Sunderland 3-0.
Okay. I believe that Palace will win 3-1.
3-1. You think Sunderland will score?
I think Sunderland will score, but sure. I think that, yeah. I think Palace will win for sure. I'm quite certain about that. That's probably one of the games from this weekend that I'm quite certain will go one way.
Yeah.
I think Palace will win, to be honest. I just think that they'll overpower Sunderland. I just think that sort of Sunderland might get that sort of, not rude awakening, because I think it's harsh to say that, but more like the welcome to the Premier League type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Crystal Palace will give them that type of a beating, to be honest. I do see them winning quite comfortably.
Yeah. Next game, another very difficult game to predict.
Yeah.
Everton versus Aston Villa.
Very difficult game. Everton have started quite well.
Back at home as well.
Back at home, yeah. Obviously, the last two games they won. Against Leeds they were poor, but they obviously won the last two games against and Wolves.
Yeah, but obviously this time Aston Villa have made a few new signings on deadline day with
Harvey Elliott. That'll be interesting.
For that game for me, I think it'll be 2-2. I could see Harvey Elliott scoring. I could also see Jack Grealish scoring against his former side, Aston Villa. So for me, I think it'll be a draw, 2-2.
I'm going to go for 1-1.
1-1. So you're sticking with the draw?
I'm sticking with the draw as well. I think it's going to be a very close game. I do think it'll be 1-1.
Yeah. Next game.
I think Villa will stop the rot.
Yeah, true. Next game, we move back into London, West London. Fulham against Leeds.
See, Leeds, not necessarily a bad start for them either. I mean, they got a good point against Newcastle, I'd say. Even though Newcastle were in a bit of sort of, they didn't really have a... I mean, they had a Sula player, but it wasn't like one of their main strikers. Obviously, Voltmurder wasn't...
and obviously Wissa as well.
And Wissa wasn't there either. So, going to be interesting to see. Fulham, though, I think they've, in the end, they've invested quite well. Yeah. They got very unlucky against Chelsea, I thought.
I
with
agree.
That goal, they got an apology from VAR. So the first apology, it took 3 weeks. So
VAR
on PGMOL.
VAR's another debate, but it's been poor so far this season.
I mean, it's already having its issues, isn't it? So it's not really ideal. The PGMOL
3-4 seasons in now, by the way. VAR
still they can't seem to be
getting it right.
Yeah, to find consistency. PGMOL, sorted out, lads. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Fulham against Leeds. Obviously, Leeds fans are a bit annoyed at the minute because they didn't buy sort of a number 10.
Yeah.
Which is a player that they could have arguably,
needed with.
They needed that type of a player. I think Fulham are going to win 2-1.
I've got 2-0.
You got 2-0. I think Leeds will score, but I think it will be a 2-1 Fulham win.
Yeah, I don't think Leeds will score.
I think Fulham will edge it. That's fair enough. I just think that, as I said, I think Fulham will find their first win of the season, and I think, I think they'll edge it. They'll just about get there.
Next game, come up north. Newcastle United against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Both teams need to find their first win of the season.
Newcastle back at St James's though.
Yeah,
they played very well against Liverpool.
Yes,
and on a different day they'd probably go away with 3 points.
No, they do. Yeah.
Obviously, Wolves kept Strand Larson, who Newcastle were interested
in. Yeah.
I do believe Strand Larson will score.
Okay.
Just to make that point.
Yeah.
However, I do think Newcastle will batter Wolves.
I think
it'll be 4-1.
I was actually going to go with the same score, to be honest. I think it'll be 4-1 Newcastle. I think Newcastle, if they get started early, I think if they score an early goal, I think it's going to be a bad day for Wolves. I just think that Wolves at the moment, they're looking quite poor, to be honest.
Yeah.
They conceded, 4 against City on the opening day. Obviously, they lost narrowly to Bournemouth, and then obviously conceded 3 against Everton. So defensively, they seem to be there to be got at this season, and I think this type of a game, especially with sort of Newcastle now, they've gotten rid of the Isak saga.
Yeah, they can move on now.
Yeah, they can move on.
Got 2 strikers.
Wissa's in, Volmerda's in.
Obviously, Alanga's there.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle, obviously Jacob Ramsey as well.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle will be too strong for Wolves.
I
think Newcastle are desperate for a win now, especially before the Champions League games.
Oh, of course, especially with the big Champions League game that they're going to have.
They might rest a few players because of that. Might give obviously Tonali a bit of rest. He played with Italy during the national break.
Yeah, scored the winning goal in a crazy 5-4 game against Israel.
So I think he will rest maybe a few players. Or he might bring them off quite early.
Yep.
But I still think Newcastle will be too strong for Wolves, and I still think Newcastle will win comfortably.
I agree. I think Newcastle will get their first win of the season quite comfortably as
well. Moving on, back in London again. Many games in London this weekend.
Okay.
West Ham versus Spurs.
Very interesting, because if this game had happened, in the previous match week, I think my score prediction would have been quite clear. West Ham did get a win though against Forest, which they need to really kick on from this. Because the first few weeks for them were quite poor. Obviously, Jared Bowen was arguing with the fans, and rumours that Graham Potter might,
the dressing room,
be on his last, on his last few games. West Ham always do perform against Spurs, though. They always turn up against Spurs.
I think this time, in my opinion, I don't think they will.
Okay. I think Spurs did lose against Bournemouth, but obviously the 2-week break might have been a beneficiary for them. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, I have a Spurs 2-0 win.
Okay, interesting.
Moving on. Again, back in London. Brentford against Chelsea.
Another derby.
West London derby there.
Yep.
I think Chelsea win 3-1. It is at Brentford, but...
I agree. I think Chelsea will win 2-0. I think Brentford... Again, one of my teams to go down. I mean, they got a very good win against Villa. But obviously that Sunderland game would have stung a lot, especially sort of against arguably a relegation rival.
Yeah.
But I think Brentford have signed Reece Nelson, which I think if he stays fit is a very good signing for them. It'll be interesting to see how Keith Andrews does.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they could go down.
I think
it will be interesting to see if they give Chelsea a good game, but I just think Chelsea will be
usually
a little
quite
bit too strong.
big against the big six at home.
They do quite well.
Obviously, that was under Thomas Frank, and a much better squad. But I think Chelsea will be too strong for Brentford, and I think they will beat them 3-1.
Yeah, I agree with the fact that they'll win, but I'll actually back Chelsea to keep a clean sheet, and I think they'll win 2-0.
2-0, okay. Moving on to Sunday's fixtures.
Yep.
The 2 p.m. kickoff is Burnley against my team, Liverpool.
Very interesting. The one question I've got for you before I make my prediction is, do you think Isak will start on Sunday?
I don't.
You don't think so? Okay.
I think Ekitike... I think the front three will be Ekitike, obviously, in the striker.
Yeah.
Gakpo off the left and Salah on the right.
Okay, so you think Ekitike will...
I think they need to build fitness. I think we might see Isak a bit more against Atletico Madrid on the Wednesday.
On the Wednesday, yeah. It's a big game, by the way.
Yeah, it is a very big game.
Liverpool's first Champions League game, as well as the fact that they'll... I think you'll probably want to go and have a better run in the Champions League this season.
I mean, obviously, last year a little bit shafted. Finished top of the league format.
Finish top of the league format.
PSG in the third.
To get the eventual Champions League winners.
But I've got us to beat Burnley 4-0. And I only say that because...
Interesting.
I've got that because I don't think Scott Parker will adapt to the way Liverpool play. I think he will still try and be on the front foot and play that sort of way that Scott Parker always wins. And the last time we played a Scott Parker side, we did win 9-0. Okay,
that's fair. I do think, though, Burnley tend not to really concede that many goals. I think Liverpool will win 2-0. I think it'll be sort of a easy game where they'll probably control a lot of it, but I don't see Burnley getting battered many times this season.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong come Sunday and look like an absolute mug and have pie on my face, but I think Liverpool will continue their 100% record, I believe, but I think that they'll win 2-0 and not 4.
Okay. And finally, the big fixture.
The big game.
The Manchester derby. Manchester City versus Manchester United.
Yeah.
You married?
Very interesting game, to be honest. The thing is with Man U is that you can never really trust them. If they, your mind says City will win.
Yeah.
But the problem is that City really, I think they're there to be got at. And I think if Man U have a bit of a go and they show a bit of confidence, They could get something here. I don't think they'll win. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think Man U in the big games tend to turn up, especially against. I mean, they were very good against Arsenal. You know, the Man U fans still bang on about the great 2-2 win against Liverpool.
Sound like a bit
at Anfield.
Fans these days.
No, I mean, I think it's been a common sort of theme with Amorim where in the big games they play quite well.
Yeah,
and I think they will do all right in this one. I think they'll make a draw. I think they'll get 2-2.
I've got them to draw as well.
And I think it's not the best, for City if they want to sort of challenge and push for the league.
I think the way the game will go, I think Man United will score early.
Yeah.
And then I think Man City will score late. I've got a 1-1.
You got a 1-1? Okay. I see it being 2-2. I think there'll be 1-1 at half time and then 2-2 come the end of the game. So I think it's going to be interesting. But I think your theory is more than plausible as well.
Yeah.
We seem to have very sort of similar score predictions.
I think this week it's quite easy. There's not really a game where you look at that and think that's a hard prediction. There's a few where it's a bit iffy.
Iffy, but I don't think there's any sort
where
of
it's it's a difficult one to predict.
No, I agree. I think I've had a fairly easy time sort of predicting these ones.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting. We will try, as we said, we will set up a bit of maybe a point scheme, which we'll let you know about.
Next week we'll look back on these results.
Yep.
See how many we've got.
Yep.
Whoever's got more or less, or if it's a draw.
I don't know if there's another bet that we're going to end up doing this season.
Could be on the cards.
Could be on the cards. So maybe we'll try and set one up. But yeah, I mean, as we say, do let us know in the comments what your predictions are.
Yeah, if we've got spot on, if we've got it.
If you think we're talking nonsense, if you think we're bang on, let us know. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's obviously some other big games as well this weekend. We have Southampton against Portsmouth.
Yeah, the Championship, obviously, South Coast derby there. Look, I think Southampton probably win.
Yeah,
but again, derby days, you never know what.
No, you never know. Pompey have signed Connor Chaplin, which I think is a massive signing. He's going to be a great player for that level, and Pompey could be an outsider for top 6. You just never know.
Championship's a difficult league.
Very difficult league to predict. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Will still, you'll want to get that win against a big rival, and John Mousinho, the Pompey manager, they'll want to prove a point that they can beat sort of a team that was in the Premier League last season. Not very good in the Premier League last season, but still they were there. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
More established Championship side.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the correct way of putting it. So it's going to be interesting to see that one. We've also got Juventus and Inter as well, which is, massive derby, and obviously could be an early, season sort of title definer, you could argue.
Again,
it is so early. Yeah. It is very early on in the season, and I think Juve are top of the league at the moment on goal difference, but still.
The top.
Yeah, but they're top. And, Inter Milan, they had a great first win against Torino. They won 5-0, but they did lose against Udinese. But I watched a lot of that game in the second half. Inter did everything but score. They had a lot of chances. Udinese cleared it off the line. It's going to be very, very interesting to see that one because Juve's record against Inter at home has been very strong. It's going to be interesting to see. That one could go either way. But if I had a gun in my head, I will go 2-1 Juventus.
Okay. It's tough. Very tough. Yeah. Obviously, Champions League games coming up as well.
Both teams have Champions League as well coming up as well. So.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Okay.
I'm going to go for 2-2.
Okay. So, yeah, moving on.
Obviously you mentioned Champions Leagues. There's the Champions League games this week. We play Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Very big game.
We play Athletic Bilbao away from home.
Another difficult game.
Bilbao. Not easy
got a strong side. Obviously, another Newcastle Barcelona.
That's going to be massive. Absolutely massive.
We've seen the problems with. It's becoming a bit of a thing in modern football at the moment where fans are getting priced out.
Yeah.
And we've seen this week where a school in Dundee, not even Newcastle, Dundee, we're miles away from Newcastle, obviously in Scotland, getting their hands on 45 tickets to this fixture at St James's Park.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's a bit mad.
No, it is.
The school in Dundee getting their hands on 45 tickets to this Champions League fixture.
Yeah. The big one as well.
And we're seeing how big the queue was for tickets.
Yeah.
In terms of, I believe, Newcastle's membership, I don't think you need any points to get into these ballots.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit crazy to me.
Yeah.
You would have thought they would have some loyalty there to the people that
of course.
support Newcastle during the bad times. which wasn't too far away, long gone. Sorry. I do think it is a bit of a kick in the teeth to those fans, probably because most of the people coming from Dundee are not really going to be Newcastle fans. Well, probably not, considering they've got the big Scottish clubs there, in terms of Rangers, Celtic, and the big English clubs that are probably the more likely to support, obviously like the Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, whatever. So, I still think it'll be a great atmosphere at St James's. Obviously, European nights under the lights on a Thursday, a bit woke, but
it is a bit strange that a Champions League game is being played on a Thursday, but I mean, it's still massive anyway. Like obviously we both live very close to Newcastle. The city on that day will be
bouncing. It'll be bouncing.
If they beat Barca as well, then and the way Barca play could play into their hands because of the high line, but. I still would. You still would back Barcelona to find a way.
You go back all them years ago when Newcastle played Barcelona at St James's Park. Yeah.
Keith Gillespie and Shola Miobi were running them ragged, weren't they? So no, sorry, Tino Espria. I apologize.
Yeah. I think Kenny Dalglish was the manager at the time. A very long time ago.
Yeah.
But they can create these moments. We've obviously seen when people thought PSG would walk there and just thrashed them.
No, and they didn't.
They got beat 4-1. Obviously, I know against a poor AC Milan side, a Dortmund side.
Yeah.
Obviously, that Dortmund side did end up make the final, but they obviously didn't turn up as you'd expected. And I know I remember looking back on that and thinking the reaction from the fans was that the atmosphere didn't really turn up the way they did at PSG.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a great game, that one. And, depends what obviously Barcelona will be playing this weekend as well. It's going to be great to... It'll be great to watch that game, and we've both got it off.
Yeah.
It'll be the night before your birthday as well.
Yeah, my birthday's on the Friday. I'm getting old.
Getting old now, yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be great. There is a potential for something to happen on that night, and we're not even Newcastle fans, but, I would like Newcastle to win that game against Barcelona.
Yeah, I would like...
I'm not really a fan of Barcelona, and I see Barcelona more as a threat in the Champions League than I would see Newcastle as a threat.
I think Newcastle this season have to try and make it out of the league format. Obviously, they've never been in the league format before.
Yeah.
It was obviously the group stage, but I think this is the best chance actually for them to get in the knockouts. We've obviously seen Villa last season.
Yeah.
But how far they got.
Yeah.
So
just a goal away from a quarter final.
Yeah.
From a semi-final, sorry. Against PSG.
So I think Newcastle have all the chances. Do I think they'll win? It's a hard one to call.
Yeah, I agree. First game.
My heart says Newcastle win. My head says Barcelona win.
Yeah, I do think Yamal might just turn up and.
I mean,
he's that type of a player.
Yamal versus Dan Burn. I mean, it's going to be.
Yeah, crazy. It's going to. That'll be a great duel, but I think it'll be. I think Barca will find a way. To be honest, I think they'll settle it down. They'll settle sort of the atmosphere, and I think if they score first, listen, football can provide anything, but I just can't imagine Barcelona losing against Newcastle, to be honest.
So moving on from football and tennis, US Open, we've seen Carlos Alcaraz beat Jannik Sinner.
Yep.
Marlind, take it away.
Okay. Obviously, it was a good final. Carlos Alcaraz played fantastically well against Jannik Sinner. Fully deserved to win the US Open, and he goes back to the number one ranked tennis player in the world, in the men's, obviously. It was a good final to watch. Alcaraz was very dominant, though. I felt as if Sinner just never really got going. His serve wasn't, what he needed to be. And I thought Alcaraz just performed so well. And Carlos Alcaraz already has 6 Grand Slams at 22. I mean, could he catch Novak Djokovic's record? It's a big question. It's, it depends how long it depends. He has to get lucky with injuries, but if Alcaraz can consistently perform at the level that he has, especially during this US Open, I think the sky's the limit, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he does. For Jannik Sinner, I still think Jannik Sinner will win many Grand Slams. You can argue Alcaraz is maybe getting the better of him at the minute, but they're both still very young, so it's going to be interesting to see that sort of rivalry for the next few years. We feel like we've sort of got a Djokovic, Federer, Nadal type sort of rivalry. It was the big 3, now it's the big 2. will there be another tennis player that sort of gets to that level? We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, the final slam of the year, Carlos Alcaraz won. And also for the women's as well, Arina Sabalenka won against Amanda Anisimova. So Sabalenka just proving again that she's one of the best players in the world, especially women's wise. She's probably the best player in the world. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see what sort of happens for the remainder of the year. We've got obviously the ATP Championships, which will happen in November. So yeah, obviously we'll be talking about that when it happens. So yeah, the US Open champions, Arina Sabalenka and Carlos Alcaraz, congratulations to you both. You have done more than fantastically. So yeah.
I think that's all we've got for this week.
Yep.
It was a lot of short episode compared to the last few weeks. But,
yeah, it was to be honest.
But I think that's just because the international break's been on.
There's nothing football-wise to really speak about. And obviously transfer windows not...
Yeah, we're talking about the big boxing news. Obviously, some of the big football news.
Yep.
We didn't mention David Good for legal reasons, but...
we can't actually mention that at the moment, but
once
that does play out, we will obviously be talking about it because...
Yeah, it is a big deal.
It's a big story, of course.
Yeah. Also, check us out on Spotify. We're now on Spotify. If you don't like seeing our faces, which fair enough.
Fair enough, understandable.
So you can listen to us on Spotify.
Yep.
I think that's all we've covered this week.
Yep.
So we will see you next week on the Sports Weekly.
As we say, please do give us feedback. Please do let us know if there's anything that we sort of haven't talked about that you'd want us to speak about. We appreciate every single, everything, even if it's positive or negative, we appreciate the feedback nonetheless because, we actually want to make a proper thing of this. And, we want to be having guests on in the future. We want to be doing, big interviews and, as Liam said, going to random events, sort of, European tours. We want to do it all. So please do, like, subscribe, comment, share.
We're also on Twitter now as well.
We're on Twitter now as well.
Sorry,
Elon Musk. Yeah. Sorry, Elon. Please don't get offended.
So
listen, we are gonna. This is something that we want to do. So at the end of the day, please do give us feedback. We're more than open to listen to anyone's ideas.
Yeah, we know the last few weeks. Look, it's still in the early stage. We know there was a problem with the camera last week where two of them turned off and it was just one camera in the end.
Yeah.
Hopefully this week it's fine.
Yeah.
And obviously the week before we had issues with the mic.
Yeah.
Last week we got the mic sorted.
Yeah.
And then our camera's played up. Hopefully this week it's smooth
more
sailing.
Smooth, yeah.
But that's been all this week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. Obviously what Marlind just said, please like, subscribe, share, and just let us know what your thoughts are. And we'll see you next week on the Sports Weekly. I've been me and Rafi alongside us.
Marlind, thank you very much.